Alright guys, give me a second here. Alright, before I start, I know I mentioned what the obsidian points I'm going to be using. Let me give you a quick glance. What the obsidian points I'm actually going to be hafting on. These I ordered them on eBay. I can't remember the name of the actual person who actually naps them, but they're beautiful. And right here it has like a brown rust color with some clear lines here. It's very sharp, very well made, very thin, so it fits pretty good on the knob that I'm going to be hafting on the forshaft to put them on. Is a black, clear black crystal color here, very beautiful. I'll be using it for this arrow. So here's one of the shafts I'm going to be using. This is from Lowe's. You can tell, look how beautiful. Barely no blemishes, barely none. It is crooked. The one thing I like about getting them in Lowe's, like I said, you handpick them, and you can choose which ones are the straightest, which ones have better properties or whatever. That way you're just not buying a bundle in a bag. You don't know what you're gonna get. It is crooked, but it's not bad. It doesn't have no crazy bends. It's fairly straight, so this should be fairly easy for me to hand straighten down. Right now I only see just in the nodes. I have to put some straightening on the node section and maybe some slightly in the length of the shaft in between the nodes. So no further ado, I'm going to start here. I'm going to turn on my heat gun. I'm going to put on the high setting. You can do on the low setting as well, but I guess the high setting kind of works better. There we go. Make sure it's not moving. And when we do that, I'm going to start on the nodes, and then I work my way through. What you want to do is, once you put the shaft on the heat source, you don't want to keep it stationary there, because it will scorch and it will burn the shaft and it's ruined. You gotta keep the shaft moving in circles, moving away. That way you don't want to overburn it. And you're gonna notice the coating of the shaft gets kind of glossy. And once you start seeing like getting some brownish color, not a burn, but then it should be hot enough. I recommend using a glove because it does get very hot. I try to do it without a glove. I did it without a glove, but I learned very quickly that use a glove because it will burn you. Nice and easy here. You don't have to put it too close because it will burn. This is very hot. Just keep rotating the shaft in circles, shooting the heat source around. I'm trying to concentrate only on the node section. I'm going to go too far back there. I'm trying to see some color now. So I'm going to come right here. It should be hot. It is hot. A little bit more. Be good. Now I'm going to sight down to make sure where I'm going to actually do the bending. I believe I should start right around here. You can actually see it, so put the palm there and just slightly, don't overdo it. Just takes a little bit of force. Sight down, make sure everything's good. That looks pretty dandy right there. Not bad. Now what I like to do is this side's already hot. I don't want to go to the next one because I'm gonna have to grab close where I bend it. It's still hot. I can probably keep bending that side. So I'm gonna rotate and go to a fresh area where it's still cold, hasn't been touched. So I'm gonna start heating this side up now. There you go. Once the next node here, you see where I need to do some bending. So I'm just gonna grab it here, put the pressure, and little by little. Don't want to overdo it. Doesn't take much at all. Side down, make sure it looks good. A little more. Put some more heat source. This outer coating that it has naturally, it does protect it. It's like waterproof, so. And I know the book says that to shave, to peel off the outer layer skin. I started doing it on my first one, but I kind of figured, you know what? There's no need. The outer coating is waterproof. So I just sanded down the nose and I protected just the nose with some mini wax. Just that side only. So that's what you really need to do. Doesn't look too bad right there. Let me just do a little more on this side right here. Should be good enough. That looks pretty good. Alright, next thing I'm going to do, since I did, like I said, I'm switching from side to side to give time, that's how I worked before, to cool down while I'm straining one side. That way it doesn't alter what I did on the first side. So I'm going to flip now, and I'm going to work on the second node that's pretty much on the middle. So, and that's right, this node looks pretty good. I don't even think I have to straighten this node at all. Maybe just a small tad. So let me just work it a bit. Because what I like about heating it, especially on the nose, I like to put a little more heat on the nose where it gives a more like a tan, like a brownish burnt color. Not that I'm scorching it, but give it some color. Kind of looks good. It gives like a camel pattern on the shaft. These bamboos are like greenish yellow color, and then on the nose it has that brownish color, so it kind of looks cool. Keep moving it. That looks pretty good right there. Alright, I'm going to start the slight bend right here. And I got gloves and I still feel the heat source. That's the glove. That looks pretty good. That looks straight. Looks very straight. This node doesn't even have to be straightened, the other one. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. Now the next step is, once you got the node straightened out, and by the way, that's how I do it. On many YouTube videos, you're going to hear people saying that they like to straighten first in between the nodes, and then once you got that straight, they work on the nodes. Some people say they start on the nodes and they work then on the in-between nodes. I personally think it doesn't really matter. I've done it both ways so far, depending how the shaft looks. So on this one, as you can tell, I started first on the nose. Now I'm going to start on the in between the nose section, get that shaft side straightened out, and once that's done, once it's completely straightened to my liking standards, then what I do is I start sanding down the nose, the bumps. As you can tell, the bamboo and the nose, they have like bumps. So when you shoot out the bow, that bump can hit the strike. The strike plate of the riser, and it can bounce your arrow around. So you want that nose sanded down smooth with the rest of the shaft. Remember, bamboos have a natural tapering, so but you want that nose to be sanded down. It doesn't take much time. At first, you like overbending here and overbending there, and you got to do it all again in opposite direction until you get the feel for it, and then it doesn't take much time. So yeah, for you guys that are asking that question, how reliable will it be? Those who are afraid that the arrow will snap or explode when you draw because the bow is so fast and so powerful, yada yada, it won't break. As long as the arrow is fine for the way of the bow, you'll be fine. Another tip, yes, for those guys who are red and have a little knowledge on arrows, know that when you buy wood arrows, they recommend that you buy them 10 pounds heavier of what the spine of your bow is. So if you have a 50-pound bow, and you go to a chart of wood arrows, probably gonna say, okay, you need to use this wood arrow, which is a 50-55 spine. Well, they recommend that you buy 10 pounds heavier, 5 to 10 pounds heavier. So they say instead of buying a 50-55 spine wood arrow, they recommend that you buy 55-60 or 60-65 spine arrow for a 50-pound bow. That's for modern bows. Bows that have a shelf, cut to center, mounting strings, and all that good stuff. Now with bamboo, they recommend that you go around 5 pounds heavier, 5 to 10 pounds heavier of your wood arrow. Not because they're gonna break, but because they're so forgiving and flexing that they will react a bit like if they were weak spine. So let's say I have a 54-pound bow at 26 inches. I try to spine my bamboos, and the ones I purchased on eBay from Tonkin shafts, I try to spine, I pick them around 60-65 spine at 32 inches long, equating with 125 grain tip. Now,